What's up, everybody? This is yours truly, Mr. Steven, aka The Legend, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. And welcome to the Steven Factor. On tonight's episode, something is shaking up what happened on CBS. Over 24 hours ago, it was being reported that CBS has been canceled the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. However, they're going to cancel entirely for over 3 decades, but Stephen Colbert is not replaced. Now, what does that mean? It means that President Trump had been sued Paramount for the 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris, plus Stephen Colbert having some tough issues with Paramount and CBS collide, and they're trying to make it fun as the big fat bride, and that's why the show has been axed. I wanted to let you guys know because I want to try to say something in my point of view, but this New York City and this whole nation, we'll become shitholes in this 21st century. And here's why. New York City, it sucks. Number one. Number two, Cuomo is still on the race as an independent run, and it will be a second chance. Eric Adams also still running as an independent. And Curtis Silswell, the founder of the Guardian Angels, is still running as a Republican, but he will be losing in this November. That's number two. And number three, I don't watch politics. However, if something, we're definitely trying to say something which is coming out of my mind, I definitely like to say something in my point of view. I really think right now that 2025 will become as the worst year ever for me, because in this political world, people always talking about Trump. And I'm talking about the left Democrats, also known as the Associates and the Liberals. But me, I'm a moderate Democrat because I am the person who's in the middle. I really don't care people tell me what to do about why do you want me to pick Cuomo, why do you want me to vote Zoran, this and that. Do you think that Zoran become as a socialist superstar and he will be winning as a New York City mayor? It was not going to happen, but I'm not going to say it any further until the general election starts. But right now, let's talk about what happened at CBS. Stephen Colbert made a bomb show, and he's been talking about Trump since almost 10 years. And he's been talking about Trump all day, all night, this and that. But however, Colbert is left. He is a far left Democrat. And he will definitely going to say something about Trump. And he did. However, he knew that all these things has come to an end. CBS decided to cut the show short. They're going to cancel it due to the Trump settlements. And he knew what he did. It was completely wrong. It was completely a mistake. That's why my late grandmother told me to say, stop talking about Trump. Stop very impersonating about Trump. And she was right. And if you want to talk about Trump all day, your ass will be fired. And that's what CBS did. They did what they had to do. And they did is a risky decision. Now, all these celebrities are pouring in. They knew why they're going to cancel that show, because due to a financial issues. First of all, it is not a financial issues. This is a political issue. When Stephen Colbert says something about Trump, he will say it 100%. Now, since day one, I posted on X, and I said it again, I don't want to watch the news, I don't want to say about Trump, but I need to focusing on myself and my well-being. And also I wanted to focusing on my job, make new friends, hang out, and even summer is finally here. And even someday, there's this new guy, Zoran, decided trying to take over New York City, and like I say, he become as a socialist superstar. And people criticizing Cuomo did whatever they wrong, and people trying to send me so many Instagram. You know why? Because we're in his political system. It is all about the game. And people really don't understand that. Now, Colbert was one of them. And let me tell you something. Colbert is one of my OGs. He is amazing. Around the afternoon, I've talked to my friend, and then we've been talking about the show. And he thought, like, he said to me, hopefully will definitely, who's going to replace him? But I told him they're going to cancel entirely. What will going to happen next? Are they going to put some reruns on Young Sheldon, or even Ghosts and stuff, or even News Overnight? What we definitely going to watch? Nothing. CBS is becoming a total bias disaster for over 80 freaking years. And that's not fair. When you're watching the news overnight, and then when the news is finished, the late night shows have arrived. And it is a late night tradition. And Stephen Colbert changed that. He wants to make it a television landscape for the late night show to make it better to all the viewers. That's it. That is it. And it's hard. It's really hard. And they knew exactly what they were going to do. It's to cancel the damn show completely. I'm very sad at this time. I didn't watch The Late Show with Stephen Colbert for a while. But it is what it is. And even the legendary Ed Sullivan Theater will be canceled for good. And it will be destroyed for good. And I really don't know what's going to happen next to the future. Hopefully Stephen Colbert will get back on his feet. Hopefully he will create his own podcast someday, or his own independent talk show. But don't you worry. He put his money where his mouth is. He put the money where his mouth is. And it really makes me so upset that CBS did. It was a bad choice. And they don't care. You know why? It's all about this. The money. All the fundings being spent to give it to all these billionaires. And even for the past 10 years, Stephen Colbert made the highest rating in television history. CBS became as a late night powerhouse until they fucked it up. Because of the political issues. We definitely need a laugh for politics sometimes, but in the future, everything's get serious. Now, I knew that everything's getting ugly. We knew that everything is getting ready to one of the critical seasons of all time. But you know something? I will definitely might come back to do the political segments, because right now I decided to take a break. I decided to try to make a new things, but it's too much. So, as you all may know, I'm getting ready to get back to my political roots to see what is going on. Hopefully, might gonna do more videos after work. And as you know, my apartment is a little bit messy at this time, so I truly apologize. That's why I took a break some of the videos little by little, and my viewers are getting lower this year. But hopefully, might going to get back on my feet. There's so many futures ahead. There's so many interviews ahead. Hopefully, everything's gonna be all right. Now, I know some millennials didn't know, and people might gonna ask me who invented that show of the Late Show franchise. Now, I already posted on Instagram, and I decided to get my get my tablet with me, so had to go get it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got my tablet with me, and I finally made a post that shouldn't have done this for a very long time, and I decided I wanted to share this with you, and so here it is. So as you may know, I posted this morning while I was at work. And like I said, for those of you who may know who invented the Late Night / Late Show franchise, including the Late Late Show, is the one and only legendary himself, was David Letterman. And yes, David Letterman built the late night talk show landscape, and we can never done it without him. So I'm going to read it to you right now. So here it is. And I call this The House That Letterman Built. As all millennials didn't know, the man who invented Late Night / Late Show / The Late Late Show was the one and the only, the legend himself, David Letterman. During the NBC days in 1982, there were no political situation at this time, and he was filming for Johnny Carson's Shoes, but they gave it to Jay Leno. In August of 1993, Letterman headed to CBS to create a second franchise called The Late Show. Just a reminder, he worked both NBC and CBS for 43 years in over 6,000 episodes, and he finally surpassed the king of late night, Johnny Carson. By the time in 2015, he passed the torch to Stephen Colbert, and I was a diehard fan of him with jokes and his political issues as well. 10 years later, I just find out last night that CBS just canceled the Late Show franchise. However, Colbert is not replaced. Since we live in this cruel world, that doesn't mean it can go away forever. When you were a kid and the news was finished, and you can watch a late night show to make you laugh, and after that, you could go to sleep. That is called the late night tradition for 8 decades since the Tonight Show. So where do we go from here on CBS? Well, the answer is, I don't know. Nowadays, it's just pure BS of Sheldon's. And that's the bottom line. If you learn more about this channel, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to see my latest videos. And also a like button as well. This is yours truly, Mr. Steven saying, Todo para la familia, and thank you for watching The Steven Factor. One love. Peace.